the satisfaction of finishing your pedalboard for the 38th time.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Kies for Premier Guitar. We took a field trip and we're in Birmingham, Alabama at the Saturn. It's a cool venue in town. It has one of the best accommodations for artists, so if you guys get the chance to play Birmingham, this is the place to go. But I'm joined by MJ Lenderman, Jake, as we know. Jake, how you doing?
Great. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us. We're going to talk to you and the rest of your band, but talk to me about what we're using here. Normally I would see you with the Jazzmaster, but I asked you to pick your favorite or most current guitar in terms of usage on tour, and this is the one you took.
Yeah, I switch a lot between this and the Jazzmaster,
Okay.
but for my solo band, I use this a lot, and then I pretty much exclusively use the Jazzmaster with Wednesday. But this is a 79. I think Firebrand, it says the SG.
I like that.
Up there. I actually got it here in Birmingham.
Oh, cool.
A couple years ago. The first time I came here, we were opening for the band Plains, and their drummer, Eric Slick, found this guitar for me in Birmingham because I had mentioned I wanted an SG. So,
what do you dig about it that it fits better with your solo stuff than, you know, with Wednesday and your other gigs?
Yeah, I like the ability to blend the two pickups.
Okay.
And it just makes it a little beefier, I guess. And I always thought SGs looked the coolest.
Yeah.
And then, so with Wednesday, it's important to use the Jazzmaster because I'm always kind of playing the strings behind the bridge. I also tune down a step, so the Jazzmaster, like, the length of it, I think,
the scale length
helps with that, and so I sometimes have struggled with the tuning on this.
Okay.
But just got some help.
Now, speaking of tuning, what tunings are you drop down the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
D standard.
And how often are you using the Capo? I see it attached in the headstock there.
Yeah, I noticed at one point, like, I was pretty much using Capos for every song, so like going into my most recent album, I kind of made an effort to to make more songs like open so I could not use a Capo. It sounds really cool. But yeah, I mean, I use maybe half the time Capo.
Do you have a favorite position, first, third, with the Capo?
Yeah, just first. I mean, I just like, I'm playing mostly like cowboy chords, so just sliding them up the neck as needed.
Now, for strings, what are you using?
These are Ernie Ball Beefy Slinkies.
Okay.
It's like 11 to, I think, 54.
Okay. And was this used on, Tom mentioned already, the Manning Fireworks record? Did you use this record?
A little bit. A lot of it was done with SG that Alex Farrar, who recorded the record, owns. Just like a standard. And then a Mexican Telly, I think.
And what do you bring it up? What do you enjoy about working with Alex? Because he helped produce the live record.
Yeah.
Kind of an Asheville homeboy. Yeah,
for sure. He's first of all just great at recording guitars.
Yeah.
But also, just we have a nice workflow. We've done a ton of stuff together between my band and Wednesday and just other local stuff happening in town. I'll go in there and play on stuff if somebody needs a guitarist or something. Yeah.
What do you hear that is so preferential when it comes to his recordings of guitars? You mentioned that that's a strength of his.
Yeah, I feel like the first thing we worked together on was a Wednesday album called Twin Plagues, and I just remember getting it back and being like, oh, he really captured how loud we are, as and I feel like we had struggled with that in the past, like recording ourselves and stuff. So he's good at making loud bands sound loud.
Okay. And with Manny and Fireworks, did you do most of the instrumentation? Yeah. What was that like?
Yeah, I'm pretty used to that, I guess. Like, it's pretty standard guitar, bass, drum stuff. That's what I played, and then I don't really play keys or pedal steel, so I brought in some friends for that stuff. But it's just kind of how I always like to work on my solo stuff. It keeps it quicker. I don't have to explain to somebody what I want, and like I love to play drums, and now it's kind of the only chance I get to do it anymore. Is like recording.
Is that where you start a song when it comes to recording with drums?
I think we'll do like a scratch, rhythm, and vocal take.
Okay.
And then I'll drum to that, and then build the band over that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like about playing drums?
I mean, it's so physical. Like every limb's involved, and it has so much influence over the whole feel of the songs, and yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to the Jazzmaster, I saw you during soundcheck using the Tele. Can we hear this SG quick?
Yeah.
And like you said, blend in the pickups and stuff. Dude, it sounds so good. It pairs well with this Hiwatt, which we'll touch on because that's a change of pace in terms of what I've known you used a lot.
Yeah, totally.
But man, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to another guitar.
This is a J Mascis Squier Jazzmaster. I had one of these before, and I still do, I guess. But
Okay, you sound like Mitch Hedberg now.
Exactly.
I used to.
But I still do. But I used to too. But this, I was just in LA, and I got to sit in with Dinosaur.
Really?
Yeah.
That would have been fun for you.
It was amazing. Yeah, we played in a jar. But I didn't travel with a guitar, so Matt Farrar at Fender over there, we were just, I just asked if I could borrow something, but he said I could keep this. So
Cool.
So I used that, and this one's in a special tuning.
Can you tell us that special tuning?
Yeah, it's from high to low, it's E, G, G, D, G, C.
What do you use that on?
That's a song called "You're Every Girl to Me," and
Okay.
so I for some reason I don't really use alternate tunings that much, but I guess I was just messing around at home, and ended up on this tuning, and luckily I remembered it because it's it's pretty common to like do that and then record something and then tune it to something else and just completely forget. So.
Or if you just have the guitar and then you forget that it's in that tuning, you pick it up and hit like an open E chord, you're like, what is that?
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, I like this. It's got the two strings tuned to the same note.
Uh-huh. Kind of like that chorusy drone.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Killer, man. What was that experience like for, I know that you're a big Dinosaur fan because your dad, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I first heard them at a pretty young age because he had Farm on CD, and so after that I was like 9 years old or something, so I thought maybe they were a younger band, and went and looked at a picture, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
There was so much more music to
dive into,
and they've become one of the most important bands to me for sure. So it was a huge deal to play with them, and just always wanted to know what that stage
feels like.
Stage level is like. Yeah. So they were nice enough to let me use a like a Marshall, one cabinet, but
Yeah, you didn't
but it was
get
nice
the
to
3.
stand next to Jay's towers.
Yeah, man, it's wild. We did the rundown with him a couple times now, and it's amazing that he still has his hearing because he's so deafening.
Yeah, he had a twin as a monitor. And I noticed, because I'd seen the one to the right before, but he had one behind Murph, the drums too. It was kind of a Texas headphones, like 2 twins on either side.
Well, shit, man, let's keep cruising. What do we got next?
So this is the Tele. This is a Deluxe, like 77 reissue. Also, thanks to Matt at Fender. He just sent me this before we left on tour. And I guess I just didn't have a Tele, and I used one a lot on the album. But I always thought these were cool, so I've ended up using it a pretty good bit on these shows. Whenever, if I'm having trouble with the tuning of the SG. It's got like a
that wide range, yeah.
It's so beefy and
yeah,
I love how it feels. The next, like, I don't know what you call that, C, what?
Yeah, it looks chunky.
Yeah.
Good C, good handshake.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know too much else about it. It's just a nice little guitar. It's I guess like the SG, the pickups are really hot. So I'm able to be cleaner on this one. So like if I ever don't want to, get super like have a super hairy tone, then I've started using this on songs that work better that way.
Maybe I'll have you get back on the SG if it's cool, because we'll talk about the Hiwatt, and then we'll go through your pedal board real quick.
Great, cool. Then there's that other Jazzmaster.
Okay. I thought we were all done. Another Jazzy.
Yeah, this is my like.
Oh, that's the one.
That's the one I've always had. I got this, I think, now it's called Haywood Music in Asheville.
Okay.
But it was called Sherwood's back in the day, and I got this when I was in high school, and it's kind of been my main guitar forever. It's what I use with Wednesday too, but just
let's hear this.
It's like maybe 2008.
Okay.
It's just been super reliable.
Yeah.
And I love the
show us a little
back here.
bit
I love doing like. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that Sonic Youth's another band that you're really into.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of them. They're, them and Jay Mascis are huge reasons why I wanted a Jazzmaster in the first place. So yeah.
Dude, you're gonna be one of those people, though. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I mean, I'm just stealing tricks from all those guys.
So we'll get the SG back, and so as you do that, I've known you to play Fender combos. I've seen you with Wednesday. You have a 2-amp setup with like a Vox of some sort.
Yeah. So with Wednesday, I use an AC30 and a Blues Deluxe, which I also got from Sherwood's. That was like the first amp I ever got.
They're making some money off you.
Oh yeah, we've been going there for a long time. But so that amp has always been like when I play with my band, I don't really feel the need for 2 amps. But the Blues Deluxe has just kind of been super reliable. I never really needed anything else, and I got the speaker replaced with a Warehouse. I don't know exactly the model, but I was like kind of wanting more low end. I felt like I was losing like some of that, but Nathan at Drop a Stun, the studio we work at, he replaced the speaker for me and sounded really good. But so we were playing in DC at the 930 Club, and the amp just kind of broke, and it was just, no matter where the volume was at, it was just making the loudest noise. And so fixing it was a problem. And, you know, eventually Nathan fixed it, but not in time to play our shows in Asheville. So I asked Alex Farrar if I could borrow something, and he had loaned me one of these Hiwatts before, and I remember liking it, and so I used it at the Asheville shows and decided it sounded better than what I've been doing before.
And you know, it's baby steps to the J Mascis rig that you will
someday.
Yeah.
One cabinet at a time.
What have you enjoyed about now having this and kind of been integrated into the band?
I mean, it's just, I feel like the tone is so much more well-rounded. There's a lot more low end, and especially with Jon's using this DeVille over here, and I think the biggest thing was the way those two interact. It was a noticeable difference. There's so much more clarity in between what each of us are doing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So 412, any speaker changes on this one?
No, that's just Celestians.
Okay.
Whatever, that came stock.
Probably, yeah, maybe vintage 30s or something like that, I'm sure. Super sparse pedal board. You got 2 pedals, and I guess a wah.
Yeah.
So tell me about the Interstellar. I know that's been on your board for a minute.
Yeah. I've had this forever. I started learning about Death by Audio when I was in high school, probably, and just every band I thought was cool was using them. So I eventually got this, and it's got 2 pedals in one. But to be honest, I only use the classic Interstellar sound on it. But it's got a lot of fun stuff in there. Like, there's this this guy back here is like a But yeah,
that's worth the price of admission right there. That knob.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I just keep it locked to this one. That's just kind of been my main distortion forever, and I use the exact same pedal board with Wednesday as well.
Cool, man. And then you got a TC flashback.
Yeah, this is actually the newest edition. I had the what's it called? The white one, the
DD7.
Boss.
Okay.
Yeah, and I like this one because it has the like feedback. You can do all that stuff. So I thought that would be fun to have. So I got one of these.
Do you ever overuse it?
Actually, no, I don't think so. I mean,
I'll ask the band.
I don't use it all that much. Jon, maybe ask Jon. he's been able to use it a little, like, I feel like more intentionally than me. It's hard. I just have a hard time like controlling it. It really just takes off. But the harder you press it, or the softer you press it, you can kind of control it that way. But I mean, sometimes that's hard to do.
If you were going to get wild with it, this would be the place, because as I see in the sign over there, it says Saturn, space is the place.
Exactly,
so let's get wild.
Yeah.
But the last thing here, we got the wah, and I know it's been a limited time seeing what you've been doing during sound check, and then just here messing around with me on stage, is that you're not using it like a wah, like you would say per se, where you're doing the Kirk Hammett thing.
Yeah, not all that much.
You're using like a filter thing more than a...
Yeah, I'm just kind of like paying attention to like the harmonics and frequencies that are coming off of that, and like. And there's the last song of the album ends with kind of a 7-minute drone, so that's kind of where that stuff comes out.
Or if you ever needed to cover Dire Straits, you got it.
Exactly. Yeah. And occasionally, if the spirit moves me, I will use it. Just as ripping a guitar solo or something.
Speaking of that, you know, the band name is The Wind, and so how loose are you guys doing the set when it comes to songs and kind of composition? Are you trying to do it in you know, true to form, or are you letting it go?
Yeah, there's some songs that maybe we can stretch out a little more, and we try to like maybe throw some interstitials in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like the arrangements go, I kind of the way we've worked is like we just play, and if I hear something that sounds a little suspicious, then I'll bring it up, but kind of try to let everybody do their thing as much as possible. We don't write a set list or anything either. We just kind of call them out as we go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I hate name dropping compared to people, but you guys remind me of like Crazy Horse, Kurt Vile and the Violators, even Ryan Adams and the Cardinals being from North Carolina. You guys have a freewheeling sense to you in terms on stage, and it's cool.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a cool, positive, like, don't know where this is going to go, but it's going to be fun energy.
Exactly, yeah. Kind of trial by fire, I guess. Like, I try to not practice as much as possible, you know, unless we have to learn songs.
Yeah.
But I feel like doing it in front of people is the most
organic.
Yeah, like,
and it kind of, it's like gun to the head type of situation where it's like, this is going to be great or it's going to be a failure.
Exactly,
and you can learn from that even too, you know, failure.
It snaps us into shape.
Yeah. I have two un-guitar related questions. One of them is about the Hangover game, the song that you have, a single. What's your take on that? Was Jordan really having the flu, or was he hungover?
I mean, I would like to believe he was hungover. And ultimately, it doesn't matter. He won regardless. But I think it's a little more spicy or something if he was partying all night. And you know, you watch The Last Dance. That's where I heard that story. It was because they talk about maybe being poisoned by some pizza delivery guys. And but you know, all of Jordan's interviews in that show, he's got a glass of scotch next to him. His eyes are yellow. Yeah. He's like,
that'd be great to picture Jordan on the road at Salt Lake, which is, you know, a Mormon state, or it's a little more conservative in their, you know, lower 48, but just tying one on and then dropping one over Brian Russell. Yeah. Game 6.
I mean,
I'm a 90s kid. I love Jordan. That was so. I heard that song. I was like, oh, I got to pick his brain about it. And the other one, I don't want to put you on the spot, but it's happening, Jake. So, man, you're having a lot of success. You know, it's stepping outside of Wednesday, and you're, you know, working with Katie Waxahachie. But sorry for that, Katie. I butchered that. English is my second language. You're selling out a bunch of shows. What's that feel like, man?
It's great. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of like
you got a lot
press
of energy
and noise and stuff, which is, you know, generally positive. But it really, like, playing the shows is kind of the part that actually feels good and real, and you know, it's nice to see everybody, but also just like play with my friends, and like we you know, just continue to get better and learn how to play with each other better. So yeah, it feels really good, and obviously even better that people are coming to the shows.
Yeah, getting paid's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're going to talk to Jon and Xandy, so I appreciate your time, and we'll follow along as your continued success happens, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're joined by Jon now. Jon, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, thanks.
Man, I love it. One guitar, of course it's a Tele, dude. How did you land on the Tele?
Well,
and this specific
particular Tele. Well, I knew I wanted to play a Tele because Jake recorded with it, and a lot of what I do is trying to inhabit some of the stuff that he was doing, so I can live in that too. And I think near the end of like a couple of years ago, Jake just picked it up. I think there was a sale, and it's at the Player Series Tele.
So this is technically Jake's guitar.
I do not own this guitar.
Wow.
And because of that, I am maybe a little more careful.
Yeah.
I'm
just a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you dig about it now that you've spent time with your friend's guitar?
Well, I love that each pickup configuration is pretty different and pretty full.
Can we show me quick?
Yeah. I mean, there's the classic, the bridge is real spanky. And then the mid, you can kind of get a glass here. and then the neck is real stanky, thick.
Where do you think you live the most?
Depends on the song. Mostly it is the bridge because it's got probably the hottest output and it feeds back.
Yeah, and then also with his SG, you probably cut a little differently.
Yes, yeah. If I'm in the neck range, I'm really working my tone knob to sort of stay not out of his way, but make it sound good together instead of.
Now, man, I noticed just there, are you playing fingerstyle the whole time?
I am.
And is that because I know that MJ or Jake, he does that exclusively too? Is that kind of to mimic what he put on the record?
Yeah, it comes. I used to be a pretty big pick player, but just if you play Jake's music, there's a lot of, not necessarily fingerstyle, but just he's outlining licks, and if I want to do that, it sounds weird with a pick.
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
Yeah, and is that something that what have you come to enjoy and appreciate of, fingerstyle playing versus without the pick?
I love the touch. That's something I learned from Jake. That when I first started playing with him, he was playing through like crazy loud amps, doing a lot of the tone and volume just on the guitar.
Yeah.
But he's able to get a bunch of different tones out of just
attacks,
spanking it. I do a lot of. Well. Yeah, I can't do that with a pick.
Yeah, man. Well, cool. One guitar. What strings you got rocking?
These are the same as Jake, the Beefy Slinky 11s, just because they can take. There's also tuned down a whole step. And the short scale length. If you tune down 10s, it's like wire.
Yeah.
Just wire.
He kind of alluded to it, but I'll have you talk about this DeVille and what you dig about it.
Yeah. I love the 4 speakers.
410s, right?
410s is right. Gives you a lot of high-end response that I tend to make sure is covered, I think.
Yeah.
But this is Carly's amp. Belongs to Carly Hartzman.
Oh, cool.
And the road case is covered.
So do you own any of your gear?
You'll find out. Not as much as I should. But yeah, I'm playing the Jake rig for sure.
Yeah, man. Jon, tell me about your pedal board.
Absolutely.
I assume you own some of these?
Yes, some. Not all are mine.
Okay.
I can start, actually. Well, this tuner was given to me during the last tour because my tuner died on stage. And it works.
Yeah.
It lets you strum all of the strings.
Oh, polytuner.
Polytuner, you can see all of it. Doesn't really work with the standard.
Yeah.
And then I got this Fuzz War, so I brought this up because this also belongs to Carly Hartzman.
Still waiting for the one thing that you do own.
I know. I started playing that, I think, because Jake was also playing one of these, and he's also got
the Interstellar.
His Interstellar, and this is crazy to wrangle. That's why I've got it first.
Yeah, let's hear. Can we hear clean amp, and then we'll hit that
Yeah, this is clean. This is with my usable tone. And the volume is low.
Yeah.
The tone is off. The fuzz is half. And if any of those can move and really drastically go crazy.
Yeah. Are you twiddling it all, or is that kind of where it lives?
I try to keep that one locked down.
Yeah, it's a beast, huh?
If that volume knob goes up, everyone's very mad.
Yeah, I bet.
They don't like that.
Yeah. And they're going to take all their gear back.
Carly will ask for it back. But that helps a lot in working in Jake's kind of crazy sphere of low end.
And your role within the band, at least in the live setting, is kind of more lead guitar, right?
Yeah, I think Jake and I sort of bounce it back or sometimes play the same thing.
Yeah, doubling up.
Yeah.
Now, is the Fuzz War more of a solo thing, or is that just more of a rhythm tone setter?
That's more of a tone textural thing.
Okay.
I'm really doing that to get that thick kind of, the full waveform is slammed.
There's no peaks and valleys. It's just red.
Exactly. And then I run that into everything else, so I can sort of tame whatever that fat signal is.
Got it. Let's move down the line.
Yes. Next up, this is the first one that belongs to me.
Nice.
This was
Put your name on it.
Yeah, I wrote it right on. It's got a lot of white space. It's the JHS double barrel.
Okay.
I think the newest version, and it's great. It's got it's got 2 JHS drive pedals.
Oh, combined.
Combined, one on each side. And I think one of them is a Morning Glory, and the other one's kind of like their Tube Screamer. It's cool. They're different. And you can arrange them in parallel. You can run one into the other.
Series, okay.
And you can have it, so right now I have it with no added gain. You can have it so it introduces gain, volume jumps, but
cool. So sounds versatile.
Yeah, I leave that one on.
The left side, it looks like, with it being turned.
That's my normal little
clean tone.
Yeah.
And do you ever kick on the right side?
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. That's my classic second stage. It really barks.
Yeah.
When I need to.
Wakes it up.
Well, I got to speak over Jake.
And top row, take me through it.
Yeah, well, so this runs from here. I'm going down into my wah.
Okay.
And then that's similar to Jake's, pretty much the same.
Okay.
And then it goes into this Archer Clean Boost, which I love. It just the volume go up, and it's got a little. Kind of like a mod thing on the bottom to change the character, but this is I'll use to definitely for a solo and Hangover game or Joker Lips when I'm doing the.
So that's you doing it.
That's me and
I figured
Xandy.
It'd be Xandy. Okay.
We're playing the same notes, and ideally it sounded like one thing.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna ask Jake that, but then I knew that you're kind of okay. Joker Lips was a question. Okay.
Lots of licks.
For pulling that out for me.
Of course. And next up, we've got the tremolo. So I've got some of the effects from the record that Jake doesn't necessarily want to do on his board. Yeah. So I've got a nice little it's just a nice trem. And I like combining that, of course, with the small stone, those controls don't move. Yeah, that color switch I really love.
Yeah.
Makes it real syrupy. And then lastly, I've got the Flashback 2 with the mash delay pedal, which I love. It's got a lot of different options, and of course, this mashy thing.
Yeah.
Which you can ride, but you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
It can get crazy.
It's like riding a bull, I bet.
Yeah.
You got 8 seconds.
It can get scary when you're, especially in the drone. You know, I like the looping nature of it. I think feels real good, but it can build on itself fast.
Well, John, it kind of goes through your rig quickly. I just want to ask, aside from playing with your friends and having fun, it seems like you guys are having a great time out on the road. What do you enjoy about being in the band and playing this music?
Well, I think this particular group of friends is we love listening and making music, and we're all confident that we love it and our friends all love it.
Yeah.
It feels great. I mean, we're up here improvising, telling jokes, and for some reason everyone's loving it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's cool to see you guys take off, and I can't wait to see where it goes next.
Thanks, man.
We're going to squeeze in Xandy because he's worth it, man.
Oh, we need Xandy.
Hey y'all, I'm Jon Bohlinger with Premier Guitar. So our rig rundowns for a long time now have been sponsored by D'Addario. And I'm thrilled to be using the D'Addario XPND Pedalboard. I've got this little guy that fits in my gig bag, and like many of you, I'm changing pedals all the time. I love having a board that can shrink as I'm shrinking my board or expand as I'm expanding it. And that's why I love the XPND Pedalboard. Their patented telescoping technology lets me instantly change the size of my pedals playground. It also features a unique cable management system and comes fitted with loops of Velcro, keeping everything neat and easy to swap. The 2 XPND versions comes with either 1 or 2 rows depending on your needs. So a big thanks to D'Addario. Now, let's get back to more rig rundowns.
Last but not least, I'm joined by Xandy. Xandy, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Real good, man. This is a special treat, as we said off camera, and I wasn't just blowing smoke up your skirt, is that I love pedal steel.
Oh.
And I'm so glad that you're carrying it on in a rock band tradition, but just, seeing it on stage is cool, especially a youngster of your age.
I also love pedal steel.
Yeah, man. How'd you get into it?
Well, it was playing in this band like almost 10 years ago now. When I started. I was playing keys.
Yeah.
And I had like a big old MIDI controller with weighted keys. Like a couple of them didn't work.
Yeah.
So there was like a gift from this guy. Ran it through like an old MacBook, running like GarageBand as like a MIDI controller.
Yeah.
And that was my setup. And it looked really stupid and didn't work very well. So Jake just said, I've got a lap steel that's on loan from my uncle. You should just play this instead.
Yeah. So you learned.
And I started learning it. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
What so like as you got kind of your bearings on it, what have you enjoyed about it and continued enjoying over the years?
I
With
mean,
this and then also the pedal steel. Sorry.
Yeah, just with steel in general. I mean, I like the niche where it sits at because it sounds a lot like a guitar in some ways, but it also has its own like kind of secret sauce. Just using a slide alone is like such a beautiful way to transition between notes and chords, and so
it's such a vowel-like character to it too.
Yeah, and then the volume pedal, of course, really kicks that up. But
dude, hit me with some of that secret sauce.
All right, so.
My grandpa would be so happy that I'm on stage because he's such a big pedal steel guy.
Oh,
it's so cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's the heart of so much good music. You know what I mean? Pedal steel is. It's
a beautiful. It's a very, like what you said. It's a very vocal instrument.
It's expressive.
And yeah, Jake really lets me just kind of respond to his songs and playing.
Yeah. Which you're on the record, obviously.
Yeah.
Manning Fireworks and all his other work, and you're in Wednesday as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like
we've been working together.
You know the routes where to work.
Yeah.
Where it comes to working with Jake.
Yeah, we've been playing music together a long time, and sometimes just riffing with him, it feels like we're riding the same wavelength.
I bet.
Yeah, mentally, which is really cool.
Can you tell me specifically about this 10-string here?
Yeah, so this is my second pedal steel.
Okay.
My first one was a Carter starter that I got off like guitarcenter.com.
Is that what it's really
in the
called?
pandemic?
Carter
yeah, it was
starter.
I like Carter starter. Yeah, because you start on them and they're like kind of flimsy pieces of shit. But like, I mean, Carter makes a great guitar, but that's just not it.
Yeah.
But this one was at my local music shop, Heyday, downtown, and so I got it, I brought it home, and I've just kind of been learning more and more about it over the years.
Yeah.
But it's a ZB Custom.
Okay.
It's like from the early 70s. That's Zanebeck's pedal steel brand, and it's a student model, so it's pretty basic. We got 3 A, B, and C pedals.
Okay.
But it has all like the mechanics and changers of like the nicest one they make too. At the time they just used the same gear. So it's built like a tank. It's got a special pickup in it that I guess they were winding themselves for the instrument, and yeah, people love these.
And are you E9? I know very little about.
Yeah, it's E9.
Okay.
So it's like a kind of half chromatic tuning. So it's kind of a jumble.
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's got some like open chords in there too. But yeah, standard E9 tuning.
What bar are you using for slide, and then also how are you using it? Because I know there's different techniques that guys have. We've talked to legends like Paul Franklin, and he talks about how he uses the bar to get different notes.
Yeah, well, this is the standard. I mean, metal steel tone bar.
Okay. A round one there.
Yeah, I got it in a pawn shop. I also I use it more for the other music I play, especially with lap steel. But I have a ceramic bar as well.
How does that tonally differ with the two?
I mean, it's completely different. It's got a much more mellow tone. It's a lot lighter.
Okay.
Like this is pretty heavy. I don't feel it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this one's a lot lighter. You can move a lot quicker with it, and it just doesn't sit on the strings the same way because it's kind of like, you know, the glaze is like glass basically.
Okay.
I mean, we could try it. It's kind of got a scratchier sound. It's not as thick, but I really. metal one is just like. I don't know if you're able to tell much of a difference, but playing it, there's a really different feel to the two of them.
Okay.
But I use this mostly for Jake's music. And yeah, I don't really pull many fancy tricks with it, I guess. A lot of people do like slants, which is a really good technique, especially. I do that sometimes for lap steel, but with pedal steel, because you can change the strings with the pedal, I kind of just don't really ever feel the need to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of my playing is not really advanced by any means. You know, I'm using the simplest setup and stuff, but
could have me fooled.
Sometimes
great,
I play
man.
behind the bar. Which has a kind of a different effect.
Yeah.
Like when we're spacing out on like a drone or on Rudolph, I use that a lot. You can do the other harmonic.
And then Joker Lips, that was the one that John had talked about.
Yeah, we're doubling that riff, so it's like, yeah, the.
God, that sounds.
You know,
so
we're
good,
just
man.
doubling that up. That's actually a part that I think Jake did write that riff, and he was like, I got this song, I want you to play this riff.
Yeah.
And that was one of the rare times when he had already thought of it, and he was like, just play that, and it's classic.
That's a good friend. Yeah. Well, tell me about this amp behind me. You got the twin reverb.
Yeah. I got it from the same shop, Heyday Music, downtown Asheville, that I got my pedal steel.
Hopefully you got a punch card there.
Yeah, right? I mean, I love those guys. But they recommended it to me, mostly because it has a 15-inch driver. So
okay.
Most twins will have two speakers. You know, the twin, it's hardly a twin with one speaker, but
with a 15, though.
That's why it's called a custom 15, I guess. And it's not a fancy amp. They made them in the 90s, I think. And,
okay.
A lot of pedal steel players don't like them that much for whatever reason. A lot of people prefer solid state for this instrument.
Okay.
But I love that it has tubes. It's got some breakup that's really pleasant and warm. And the 15-inch speaker, you just get some depth.
Yeah, that's kind of a
with it.
standard with a 15.
Yeah, that sounds really amazing. Yeah.
And obviously you got the volume pedal that's crucial to what you're doing.
Yeah, well, the volume pedal's fun. It's brand new, actually.
Okay.
I used it for the first time last night at the show.
Initial review? What do you think?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's butter smooth. It's got a really nice swell action, and it feels really solidly built. It's a Goodrich 120.
What were you using before?
I was using an Ernie Ball VP Jr.
Okay.
I have like a box of old busted ones at home.
The graveyard. The graveyard.
They're a great pedal, and they work well. They've got a great resistance to them, and they just work great until they don't anymore.
Yeah.
Which just happens so frequently that it's
Gotta
time
try
for a
something
change. Yeah.
Can you show us a little bit more how just how it works? Not how it works. It's pretty simple how it works, but how you're using it.
Yeah. Well, it's just for all you're doing is swelling the volume.
You're probably on that all night.
Yeah, I'm on it all night. I mean, it's totally part of the instrument. I would have a really hard time playing it without it, to be honest. I mean, it's totally like integrated into everything I'm doing. But it's just, you can like slide into a note like a little slower, like versus like, and then you can do some really like really atmospheric kind of I don't know. I mean, it's just part of the whole like pretty swelly in and out kind of sound that defines the instrument. Yeah.
And
I will use it like a tremolo sometimes and like swell it in time, like. Imagine I'm playing to a song with that beat.
Yeah. You better warm up your Achilles and your calves on that if you're doing it in time for a whole song.
Yeah, I'm very active on it.
What's the last pedal here? This little dinker here.
So that is it's also a new addition to this tour. I was recently traveling in Japan and I got this at a guitar store. It's a Guyatone Sustainer D2 pedal, SD2. And it's basically a fuzz pedal. And I have a couple fuzz pedals I use for Wednesday's music at home, but they never sound good with this pickup because it's just kind of weird. It's like very microphonic.
Oh.
And you know, it just picks up everything like touching the instrument at all times. So for some reason, just with that style, fuzz gets really crazy and it just one note usually. But
yeah, I gotta hear fuzz pedal steel, man. My God.
Yeah.
It turns this very sympathetic, angelic instrument into the gates of hell.
Yeah, it gets pretty nasty. And, you know, it can like really, you know, that kind of stuff is fun in certain moments. Yeah, I mean, you
could do that.
Yeah, anybody can do it. It's very easy. Yeah, it's just fun to go crazy on that. You know, I feel like I haven't been using really any pedals with this band for many, many years, and I can really unlock another level.
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, Xandy, I appreciate your time and the rest of the guys' time. This is a big treat, and I'm glad we got this one checked off on our list because you guys are doing it. I'm glad to get you in on the Rig Rundown team.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me.
We had time, so why not have the bass player? Everyone always asks about the bass player, and we wanted Landon in here because he's a stud. Landon.
Hey.
Thank you for doing this, man.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. You got entered into MJ's world through stand-up bass, right?
I did, yeah. Playing acoustic bass on Manning, and actually met Jake through playing free improvised music. And I was playing 8-string guitar and pedal steel in that project, and that led us to more experimental music and brought in the upright. And upright led to the electric, and here we stand.
Where was, or not where, obviously you were in Asheville recording that, but where, what song were you playing on?
I think I'm playing on Rip Torn, You Don't Know the Shape I'm In, and Manning Fireworks.
Okay, cool, man.
I believe those three.
Is that something you'd ever see, you know, expanding upon in terms of bringing it on stage and using it?
Yeah, if I could get a case for the bass, which costs more than my bass, then I would definitely bring it on the road. But you know, upright bass case is not free.
Yeah, I bet you it's a thing you definitely you got to pay for that one. For
sure, yeah, and they're heavy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a thing or two you're worried about it. I don't know. I've never toured with an upright bass, but I imagine it's a nervous journey.
Yeah, I mean, if it can't strap to the roof, which I wouldn't want to strap mine to the roof, then it's hard to get it on the road for sure. Someday though.
Well, tell me about this electric here.
This is just it's a 2006 Fender Mexican P bass. It's a Mike Dirnt custom artist bass. I actually traded a Washburn ABT little cherry red bass to a church that I was working for at the time. At the time, it had all the finish on it, but I was driving to Montana in the winter, and when I was in North Dakota, I took it out of the case, and it was about 20 under in my car. My heater coil broke, and all the finish just fell off.
Wow.
So that's how it looks like this, but
yeah, it's chipped. I've seen it crack and stuff, but I've never seen it like that.
Yeah, it really shed all around. Yeah.
What was the little note in the back? Sorry.
It's a fortune from a fortune cookie. It says, "Your future is filled with endless possibilities."
I mean, man, it seems like that for you.
Well,
it keeps doors keep opening and you're walking through them.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, man. Well, what do you like about this bass? What do you dig?
I guess that I have it and it works constantly.
I mean, that's
it's just a working bass, you know, like it's not like my end-all bass, but it's the bass I play the most because it consistently works. I like that it doesn't have active pickups. I like that P bass is a pretty consistent tone with like a lot of music. I can play country, I can play jazz, I can play R&B, I can play Jake's music, play pop with it. It kind of does it all. So it's the utility bass, and I like that.
Have you had much time with the jazz bass on the other Fender?
I don't like the sound of the jazz bass. Okay. It's like nasally or something, or maybe I just don't like rounds on it. I always hear rounds, and I play flats. Not opposed to round wounds, but the flat serves the fundamental in a way that I really like. Yeah.
Well, speaking of strings and flats, what do you got on here?
I'm rocking the Ernie Ball medium gauge flat wounds. Ernie Ball has been awesome enough to hook me up with some strings and some cables and stuff, and I'm really liking their flats. I sometimes was playing labellas in the past. Those are awesome. But you know, the Ernie balls are great too. I think that they kind of compare for what I'm doing.
Yeah. Now, are you using fingers or pick or both?
Mostly fingers for everything, except for a couple moments like when we play SUV. I dig in with the pick.
Okay.
And when we play like some like the more ambient, weird tonal sections of tunes, like in the drone, I'll pull the pick out and pinch harmonics and stuff with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, right on. What do we got going on here? Got the big fridge.
Yeah, we got the fridge. I got some Coors, some Millers, so we can get some afterwards. This is the Ampeg 810 SVT cab. Just got this. That's why it's so nice and not road worn.
Cool.
And then sitting on top, the brain of the whole thing is the Sunn Beta bass. This is an old one, which is just, I think, one of the coolest sounding bass amps. I like the solid state nature of the bass amp. It pushes the tone in a way that tubes are often so squishy, and this has like more blade to it. Yeah.
I know nothing about the Beta bass in terms of the input structure. Why do you go A versus B?
The support band has their own channel, so they run the B. But what you can do is run both inputs or A, B, and you can run like a foot switch to the B, and that can be your drive channel.
Got it.
This has a sick drive tone on its own, but I haven't even fooled with it because I've got enough with the board to
color it.
Color it, exactly.
Where did you pick this one up at, being an old one?
This came from a used music store. I could peel this gaff tape off and tell you. I'm not really sure. I think it was a music go-round purchase.
Okay.
Our manager, Rusty, hooked it up. Shouts out to Rusty. And he got the Ampeg at the same time. And he was kind of like, what do you want? Because I was rocking a Mark bass for a while on like a 410. And that was fine. But this you can really stand and you just feel more part of the song.
Yeah, man. It's a sight to be seen too, you know. It's cool to see 810.
Aesthetics at the top.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Well, Landon, let's get into the pedals quick. But
yeah.
Before we do that, let's maybe just hear straight at amp.
Sure.
It's so round and yeah, man.
It just needs to be round. That's all it needs to do, I think. Thank you.
What do we got going on your feet here?
We've got a little Korg pitch black tuner. I like that because in the club it's dark. It sucks on
stage
on festival gigs.
Yeah, I bet.
It's horrible. So I had this Snark clip on just in case that thing is not working at a festival. But
belt and suspenders, man. Belt and suspenders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to have all the protection you can get. After that, we got Origin Effects Cali 76. That was really the first pedal I ever bought that I was like, okay, I'm going to spend some money on pedals.
Yeah.
My friend Devin Craig of Japanese Breakfast, great bass player, he turned me on to the Cali 76 and was like, you need compression, and here's why, and I don't remember any of that. Why, but I got it, and I really like the way it sounds, and I can turn it off, I can keep it on, it's kind of whatever, but it's there if I need it.
Yeah.
After that, I run the compressor into the Dark Glass Alpha Omega, which is also serves as a DI, but I just use it as a drive pedal. It's a great pedal. It's got all the grit and like chainsaw stuff without the fart, and it can get farty, but I like it to cut trees.
Dark Glass never disappoints.
They're great. I love Finland, and actually got that when I was in Finland visiting my good buddy over there, and
right on.
They're great people, great company.
Yeah,
really like them.
So you got a DD7. Did you steal that from Jake?
No, John tried to steal it from me, but I took it back.
Yeah, dude, he gets handsy with gear.
Oh man, for sure. No, the DD7 is just It's a must-have. I feel like for a lot of reasons. It's like a loop pedal in a primitive way, but it also has great ticky-tacky stuff if you're doing country bass or following a guitar player, playing the bass lines. But I mostly use it in the drone section. For stuff like that, the drone section coming out of I can't remember, the Bark at the Moon, we kind of get into that zone. Yeah. All of these guys are running into the Noble, which is not mine. I don't own it.
Okay.
So huge thanks to Dave Hartley, my buddy, bass player, War on Drugs, amazing guy, so sweet to let me take this Noble.
That's cool.
On tour. It's a wonderful preamp. It's just enough tube to kind of balance out the solid state, I'd say. And it also powers everything, which I just think is sick, but it's hard.
It's kind of like a power supply.
It is a power supply.
Oh, wow.
And it also has, like, if you go to Europe and you're running 220, it has a converter built into it. And so all you need is the other IEC. So it's kind of just another pocket knife to have on the rig. And I've got a Sansamp Tech 21 preamp sitting over there just in case for some reason I want that drive instead of the Alpha Omega, but I tend to just like the chainsaw of the Alpha Omega.
You got a pocket knife, you got a chainsaw.
Yeah, got a wristwatch. It's a megaphone.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, man. Did you ever get that heater coil fixed?
I'm still working on it.
Man,
Yeah.
that's a summer-only vehicle then.
You got that right, man. Someday.
Landon, man, I appreciate your time. I'm so glad to see where you guys are going with the music, and it seems like you guys are having fun.
It's all about fun. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, you got to do something else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, appreciate your time.
Yeah, man, I hang out with Perry, get to do these. This is a lot of fun, so I appreciate you guys having fun.
Yeah.
It makes the world a better place.
Thank you.
The music you guys are putting out.
Oh, thanks for being here with us.